Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 61 of the All Four Back podcast. I'm, of course, Chester 430 of the Oxford Dragons, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-broadcasters of Newcastle Wolves, Ryder Hadlington. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Dan. Good evening, gentlemen.
And we have also in our present tonight the Shorefield Panthers Ryder Shads. Good evening, sir.
Hello, everyone.
And, of course, on the old slides tonight for a second week is Mr. Ben Thompson. A very good evening to you as well, sir. Thank you for joining us once again for us. So, on tonight's programme, we have a rundown. Well, first of all, we have actually got a couple of team changes to announce, first of all, before we go into the league reviews. We got Shaz Rider of the Week. We've got the league table as per normal. We've got the BGP and SCS previews for Chills Off. And, of course, an all-important Week 9 KO Cup preview of the second leg of the KO Cups. And we also have the new averages after 5 meetings. So, with all that being said, we've got a lot to talk about and a few heated words, I'm sure. I'm sure you'll be looking forward to that. Get your popcorn ready then, chaps.
Dan's upset.
Oh, brace yourself, boys. Brace yourselves. Okay, so first team change we have is for the Dragons. So you may have already seen that Sculio has sadly pulled out of the team. I believe she's like work. I think it's like commitments or something elsewhere. So Squall has dug into the transfer window, and we can welcome in Mr. Craigie Hurl for the Dragons for the remainder of the season. So it's good to see Craigie Hurl back from the pool into the Dragons lineup. In terms of everyone saying, "Oh, didn't he ride this week?" No, we've there's been an agreement where Craigie Harrell became active the week commencing the 23rd, so we could still use him or use Sculio before bringing in Craigie Harrell, because obviously Craigie Harrell was, I believe it was signed after Sculio's last match. So yes, that's something we want to look forward to. Of course, we've got the KO Cup coming up, and we can hopefully welcome Craigie Harrell into the team for that one. And the second team change is involving the Spartans. Now, the Spartans have had not one, not two, but 3 changes. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Hadlington with the all-important news. Hads, over to you.
Yeah, as we all know, most of you probably know by now, DL, he's working away, so he's had to step down himself, and obviously had a couple of orders who weren't actually around and been replaced, rather than people who have rode and been replaced. So with that being said, Toby has signed on for the Spartans in place of Mackinnon. Wolfie, Mr. Judas himself, as replacing Neil with the extra grade points, and Brendan Hart is back in the game, and he will be replacing DL Short. But DL will actually be remaining as a non-riding captain going forward. He did send a little message to me earlier, because he's got no Wi-Fi up in the mountains where he is, to be fair. Just that he had a few problems to start with, and Neil's had a few personal problems. Probably shouldn't have signed up in the first place. Mackina's shift pattern as well hasn't helped him. The only weeks he's been free is when they've had a cup match or a bye. So he's happy to bring in Toby, especially we saw him win the Grand Prix in the last round as a newcomer. He's probably one of the best ones we've seen for quite some time. Obviously bringing Wolfie in to replace Neil with the extra grade points as well. We'll get back to that one in a second. Obviously, and Racer Ryan was the one involved who got Brendan to return to replace DL. But I'll just go back to Wolfie for a second. Obviously, he was at the in the pool at the start, and he's just quit the GPs, but then signed for the Spartans. So make of that what you will. So that is the Spartans team changes for the remainder of the season.
And that was Hadlington's rant as well. all about Wolfie. Oh dear. Well, I guess of course second half of the season now, because all these team changes that have been happening literally puts the league wide open. We will get into details about that later on in the show. But we're going to have a look at the league match that took place on Tuesday. In fact, all three meetings took place on the same night and at the same time as well, which I think is a first for the old Sliders camp here. So the first match we had was Hadlington, your team, the Newcastle Wolves, taking on the Somerset Spartans, and the home team with a 52-38 home victory. So Shad's a good night in the office for you guys, and especially with the likes of Owen scoring 13 from 7 rights.
Yeah, definitely. He's he's found his love for the game again. He's obviously got more time as well now this year, and it's really showing off with his practice and his scores in meetings, which obviously will be in the top 5 going forward. But having him to have 6-7 rides a meeting is definitely something we've been able to use if somebody else is not quite on it. But I've got to say, the Spartans, Westy Boy was the captain for the Spartans in this one. And he did a pretty good job, to be fair. I think the replacements he'd done throughout. I mean, I think the Wolfie one was a bit questionable. But apart from that, I think it was a bit closer than it could have been a bit closer. The one heat I was in against Ray Savoyan and Westy when they team rode. And also they did it when I think it was the second heat Paris was in, and he said how good they were as well. Team riding, covering each other inside and outside. So fair play to them for that. But also with the team riding, I have to mention Ads and Owen riding together. I think Ads actually put the stats in the Wolves chat, something how many 5-1s and 4-2s they got together after the meeting. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but it was quite a bit, and they seemed to gel really well. So yeah, happy to get a win and a race win. The rest of it was a bit naff, but yeah, another good win over a decent team.
Well, of course, with that big score from Owen, it does increase his average quite a lot. So I think looking into the averages, he's going to go into the main body of the team for the second half of the season. So the confidence in the Wolves camp is very much alive, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Owen was in heat 15, and it was actually, if he'd have won heat 15, I think he'd have been number 1. It was that close. I think Toby posted it at the time. There was like 0.2 or 3 between him and Sizzler, but they had the ping, and that was that.
Oh. And
he was last. So yeah, he'll be. I don't think he'll slow down his scoring, to be honest, as well. The way he's been riding, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, I guess this match here was definitely the Wolves reserve against the Spartans reserve. Of course, literally scoring most of the points that both teams had there. I mean, top scoring, fair play to Owen, and also to Westy Boy, top scoring for the Spartans. But yeah, it's a very, very interesting second half of the season. I say if Owen carries on like
both in my fantasy team, so go on, boys.
Yeah, that's one thing Shads can celebrate this year.
That's fine.
Shots fired.
Anyways, shall we move on?
Mr. Number 8.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, Ad's got a paid max as well, by the way. You missed that one.
Yes, 11 plus 1 from 4 rows there. So congrats to Ads. I was waiting to get to see his Wolves video like he always used to do after a meeting and see how his reactions was. But yeah, Hobnob saying Had's definitely bottled it. Yeah. Wow. Debatable.
4 points my limit venue. It's above my average, so I'm all right.
So look at your we'll look at averages later in the show, had, but I think you'll be is it right saying you're going down to reserve at this crucial stage of the season?
I was already reserve anyway at the start. But
Okay,
obviously
so
I was in. If somebody missed out, I'd be in the main body. But now, if I ride the rest of the season, I'll be number 7 if I ride. So yeah, there we go. That's how
that's how
it's
it
going
works.
at the minute. But yeah, can only go up from here.
Absolutely right. Next slide, please, Mr. Thompson, because we're looking at the Oxford Dragons against
ready,
the
boys.
Shorefield Panthers. And this one was one-way traffic, 51 points to 39 in favour of the home team. Led, of course, by Stefan on a 15-point maximum. But there was a little bit of controversy. I do say, involving heat number 4. Now, heat 4 was, of course, number 5 with a reserve. Now, I was named in team, as you see there on the screen. And the plan was for me to have 3 program rides. Heat 4, Heat 8, and Heat 14. I was in the server, ready to go.
3 last places.
I was in the server, ready to go. All of a sudden, Squall pops up and says, "Oh, Chester can't ride." So, by my calculations, this is what was said in the chat, if you can see this. So, a number 8 is allowed to be added to the match day team. This rider must be the team's 8th graded rider, which I was, and have the option of replacing any 1 to 7 subject to the Heat 8 rule and mandatory minimum. They are also eligible to take an RR ride, but of course the Heat 15 is non-negotiable. We had to go into the Wolves chat to get clarification from Tank to say, "Oh, I couldn't ride." Then we find out tonight that the rule was incorrect and I could have rode. So, Tank, you whopper. Yeah, you absolute whopper. So the plan is, well, Squall has the plan that he wants everyone to ride and actually, be part of the game, because that's what it is. It's a game. We want everyone to participate. And yeah, that's what happened. So to be told literally like 3 days later, finding out the meeting was actually, I was able to race in the meeting. It's just, it's complete pandemonium.
Yeah, but to be fair, Dan, this rule was put out there for teams using rider replacement. It wasn't put in so everyone can get a ride. I mean, you've had 4 out of the 5 meetings this year, and so has Heppel, and so has Caney. So why didn't he put you in for one of those 2 at reserve, and give one of the other guys a night off? It's not as if you haven't ridden this year. You've ridden 4 out of the 5 meetings. It's the first meeting you've actually missed. So I don't know what you're complaining about. I don't know what the point of this. What's the point of having this rule if you're just going to just use 8 riders every week? I mean, I could have ridden the other week against the Cowboys. There was 8 of us available. I volunteered to step out to give Ben and Hutty a go in the team.
Well,
I don't know why you're making a big issue of the rule that was clearly put in there for teams using rider replacement. The Warriors
the rule,
did it 2 seasons ago.
Shads, the
You
rule that we...
You can't. Only the top guys race in every meeting. Everyone knows that. Us at the bottom, we don't get to ride in every meeting unless we're scoring 11 points like Owen does.
Shads, the rule said there, it said nothing about a rider replacement ride, and that, and it's like, I just don't understand it. Like, I was training right up to the meeting, and to be told literally as I was in the server that I couldn't ride is a load of pish. You know?
Yeah, but hang on a minute. The rule doesn't say you can't have 8 riders in the team, but the rule was put there. Everyone knows why the rule was put there. The rule was put there for rider replacement in case someone drops out or has a problem with the internet or whatever. So you got someone in reserve to take the rider replacement ride. It's not for everyone to get a ride. It's lovely for everyone to get a ride, but it's a long season. You know, you get 10 meetings, and you've ridden in every single one so far. So I don't know why you're complaining. Just leave one of the other guys out. It wasn't as if you had a hard meeting. It was against Panthers. You were going to win it, whoever was in the team.
Well, I just see it like that's what school wanted to do. You know, school wanted to give us like everyone. We were all going to get 3 program rides at minimum. So like even with what's been said, but it's just that school was going prior to the rules. You know, he read the rules that was written, and it said, a number 8 can be brought in to replace any of the 1 to 7.
But that's not why the rule was put there. The rule has been wrongly. It's wrongly misinterpreted. The rule wasn't clear. The rule was put there for rider replacement to replace the rider replacement. That's why it was put there. It wasn't put there so everyone can get a ride. But as the rule says, I think the rule's been written wrongly.
Yeah, but on that note,
and now Tank's back,
as you say,
tracking.
Yeah, Tank has actually admitted earlier. He says he takes full responsibility for the cock up in the Dragons meeting, and he's fine. That obviously that's public knowledge. Personally, I don't think it should be a rule, because if everyone's getting a void and we got 8 squads of 8, why is it not 8 versus 8? Firstly, and as I know, Shads has adhered to someone else dropping out. I mean, if Julio's leaving, wouldn't it have been better not to void him and void Caney in the team and Dan and Heppel at reserve? I mean, but then, because now you're going to get Julio's been replaced and he's actually voted, so how does that work? It kind of backtracks itself to something else, and we don't want to be doing that. We don't want to be talking about, oh, you've done this wrong and you've done that wrong. But it is what it is, unfortunately. Tank's admitted the cock up. I know Dan's obviously a bit alright with it, which I can understand, being ready to race and being told you can't. But
yeah,
and Squall, as people know, I've heard under Squall a couple of times now, he's probably the fairest captain, giving everybody rides when he can. He's done it for boys last season,
and that was how it was going to be.
But why does, I don't know why it's a rule. If it's 7v7, it's 7v7. Why do you need a number 8 is my question. Why is it even a thing? I don't know. There's a match counter for a reason, and I don't get it.
Well, see, I've like I said, I've ridden in everyone so far. That's because we haven't had all 8 available or all 7 available. So I've come in for the number, for like the one person, obviously, and all that. So then to have number 8 position, train up, be ready to go, and then to be told 30 seconds before the meeting, the start of the heat, oh, you can't ride, and then find out that you could have rode because of a technicality.
I think the worst thing for me is it was done during the meeting and during why our meeting was going on. This should have been asked of before the meeting started, and just to make sure it was right, not when we were on heat 9 and every other meeting's on heat 2 or 3 like it was on Tuesday, because there's chaos going on.
Right, moving on.
Lofty,
well, if you're listening to this, I'll ride number 8 if everyone's is available. All right.
That's a great picture, Lofty. That's a great picture. So Dragons 51.39. Stefan with a full max and a track record in Heat 1. Shad's disappointing night for yourself, only scoring 4 points. Pretty much given like lambs to the slaughter against the Dragons, but I mean, you've got to take some credit. I mean, Cappy's top score 11 plus 1, you're in 1 for the season.
Yeah, we missed Scotty big time. He would have fancied him to score a few points. We could have made it a lot closer. And basically had 3 reserves in the side. And the rider replacement, there's only Cappy and me and Ben that could take the rider replacement rides anyway. I think we used one of them for a tactical substitute. I think Cappy rode in one of them for a tactical substitute, but it was always going to be up against it with Scotty not being in the side.
And of course, with the Dragons there getting the win, puts us on good stead for the KO Cup second leg against Powderhall. And for yourself, Chad, your next match, obviously want to bounce back after this defeat, don't you?
Yeah. I've got the reserve. I've got the reserve pairs week after next, I think, and then we're at Wolves in the league.
Yeah, Wolves in the league, of course. Yeah,
it's going to be fun.
Nice little tricky trek to Newcastle for that one.
It was a home track for me. God knows, 15 seasons ago, so I sort of kind of remember it. Although I think the lines have changed since then, and the bikes have definitely changed since then.
Yeah. I mean, I struggled when I was there for Dragons. I only scored like 2 points because I just couldn't get the line right. So
we'll see. We got a couple of meetings before that, so concentrate on that. Worry about that next week.
Yeah. So on to our next match we had, and that was the Poole Cowboys taking on the already mentioned Powderhall Scorchers. And this one went down to a last heat decider where the home team just managed to clinch a 46-44 home victory, led by Craig with 15 points from 6 rides, back to his best, dare I say. Had your thoughts on this match? Because the Cowboys and Scorchers went down to the last heat, and just the home team had the edge in that final heat.
Yeah, I was watching as he's finished. I think it was the last of the 3 meetings to finish. And the way the Scorchers, when they got the 5-1s in heat 12 and 13, I thought they're going to come back and nick this. But fair credit to the Cowboys there. Stood firm the last couple of heats and got the victory. Nice to see Fakey riding for the Cowboys. Guesting at number 1 as well, so that was good to see. But I think it was obviously, you say, pretty even contest. Both Scorchers surprised me there by putting Cam at number 2, using the rider replacement at number 3 this time. So that was an interesting tactic from Limo again. And Alan McNally there winning heat 2 and getting 5 points is a decent return. But it's also good to see Tintin back in league action, his first match. So fair play to everybody.
Tintin's second match, Hads, because he raced against the Dragons in the KO Cup.
That's first league match.
League match. First league. First league.
He's still upset about the Oxford Spartans meeting. So
yeah,
you can forgive him that. You need to calm down, Dan. Chill, man. Chill.
You gotta stop taking the mick at me every time you get a chance.
We're only halfway through the season. Just chill.
Yeah.
Still got a semi-final to
but sorry, I just thought that was Limo's tactics. I just saw what Bobby put. The lineup order was rearranged so Rico and Cam didn't clash in heats.
Of course, because of the laptop situation. That's what it is.
That makes sense. Yeah,
let's not go there. And actually, I think in the SCS this week, they're both in the same heat and me at the same time. So I might get an extra point. Woohoo!
Hashtag get Cam his own laptop.
Hashtag exclusion.
Yeah. So, of course, we had that match, Powder Hall, or Pool and Powder Hall, and we also had the Silver Helmet that night, where Limo took on Craig, and it was Limo getting the better of Craig by 2 races to nil. So a clean sweep for Limo, who's certainly finding his form at the certainly the right time. But yeah, well done to Limo. So with the league now discussed and tempers have calmed down just a little bit, we're going to move on to the ride of the week. I'll tell you after the podcast. We're going to move on to the ride of the week, and with that, Shads, it is all yours, sir.
Oh, lots to choose from this week. Caney with his paid 11 from 4. Ad with his paid maximum from 4 rides. Shame he didn't take final heat. Stefan with his usual maximum against us, which isn't hard really. Mareki paid 13 from 5. Craig back to close to his best with his 15 points and a tremendous gate in his last heat to clinch the points for the Cowboys. But I'm going to make Sizzler very happy by saying this week, justice for Owen. Owen is my rider of the week for his played 15.
Hey, there we go. Congrats to Owen. Certainly a young man who's definitely on form at the right point. So congrats to you there, Owen. And before we take our break, we're going to have a quick look at the league table. Of course, this is after halfway in the season. So you see there, currently on top is the Oxford Dragons on 12 points, 1 point ahead of Newcastle, who are 1 point ahead of Powder Hall. Then the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th between Poole, Somerset and Shawfield. So Had's second half of the season, how do you see it playing out?
I think not too sure, to be honest, at the minute. We've won the 2 of our matches we've had at the moment, so in a pretty good position at a halfway stage. Credit to Dragons and Scorchers as well. Getting up there, obviously Cowboys not too far behind as well. So it's still pretty tight. I mean, most matches, again, obviously been pretty even throughout. More have been even than they've been like big wins. So yeah, I think we just have to wait and see what these changes for the teams do as well.
I was going to say that these team changes that are coming up will definitely make things a little bit more interesting in terms of league positions. Shads, your thoughts, second half of the season? I mean, it's a bit of a mountain to climb for you boys, but how do you see the second half going for you?
For us, probably pretty much the same as the first half, I would think. Still searching for some consistency. It's either the bottom end doing well or the top end doing well. We never seem to do well together. But with a bit of a shuffle around, a bit Witcher in the middle order now and not having to ride with me, hopefully he'll improve. Still looking for that first win. I'm quietly confident we can get a win somewhere. Looking at the table, I think you can rule the Spartans out now, even with their team changes. I think you can probably rule them out of the league title now. They're too far behind now. With very few meetings. Although they've got 3 home meetings to go, so and they've got to come to Shawfield yet. So it's still possible, but I can't see the top 3. I can see one of the top 3 winning it. I don't think Dragons will, although they gave us a walloping a couple of times this season. I've not been that that impressed with them, to be honest with you. I think the winners are going to come from
mind your
the
words,
Wolves.
Shads. Mind your words.
I think the winner's going to come from one of the two, from the Wolves or the Scorchers, for me.
Well, I will say I've been getting nosebleeds because I'm so far up in the table. I haven't been this far up forever, so it's great to be a part of it.
Very small part of it.
Wow.
Oh, dear.
Wow. And with that, we're going to head on to our break, which I believe, and when we come back, we're going to have a look at the previews for the BGP, SCS, and of course the KO Cup second legs, and a look ahead at the new average changes. So, back in 2 minutes. This is All Four Back, episode 61, with Chester, Hads, and Shaz bringing all the up-to-date action and reaction from all things STS. We're now going to move on to the previews of the BGP and SCS rounds taking place at Chozov over in Poland. And we're first off going to have a look at the BGP. We did talk about this a little bit last week after the draws. So looking at the lineup, I'm going to say, first of all, Hads, who do you see as a potential winner from these matches? Which do you see as the most important heat?
I think it's going to be good for Gators, this one. So you got to fancy the likes of Sizzler, Bobby. They're pretty quick off the gate. They'll should go well. To be fair, obviously Stefan's always going to be in the mix. As for heats, just have a quick look. I forgot what I said. Which heat last week now?
Heat 19.
Heat 8, Matt.
Dreadlock,
Heat 19, yeah.
And then Squall,
Steve.
Beth, Powers, and Bobby. That's quite a cool heat.
Yeah.
Heat 19.
That is going to be. There's going to be some obviously decent heats again here, as always is in the GPs. I think we're just waiting on cough that man Craig to confirm, and we're all good to go. So,
why am I not surprised?
Got 3 hours. Listen, Dan, go upstairs to
Yes.
the bedroom and give him a nudge. And tell him to get himself confirmed.
He doesn't live down in the road anymore. He's moved up to the top
I
of
thought
bloody
he-
Red Hills.
I thought
Nah,
he lived
nah,
in
he-
your spare room.
My attic.
I
My
thought you
attic.
kept him. I thought you kept him locked up in your spare room.
No, that's a tank. That's tank this week.
Oh yeah, and the rest. No, tank's hanging outside the window. Getting noose round his neck.
Oh.
Anyway, Shads, Shads, looking at this meeting, you of course take part in the BGP this year. What's your thoughts
Briefly.
going into this one?
Briefly, what's my thoughts going to? Well, like I had said, it's a bit of a Gators track, so that's me done.
Where's your confidence, Shads, mate? Jesus.
Hey, where's my confidence? Back in season 5, mate.
Yeah, you got to bring that back up, mate. Come on.
Listen, it's just nice to be involved. It's nice to be involved in a meeting and not just sit there waiting for a ride and not get one.
That sounds familiar. Oh dear.
I'm more interested in looking at the table, looking at
Yes.
because we're not sure about Ryan yet, are we? Ryan's still 50-50. But I think
Yeah, Ryan's 50-50 as well.
I think he's pretty much blown his chances. Because he missed the last meeting as well, didn't he? And he's going to be overtaken in the top 8 as well. He might struggle to qualify for next year's GPs if he misses any more meetings, because you've got Craig behind him, Mackinnon, even Becky's only 8 points behind him. So he's gonna, unless he actually physically rides in the last 3 meetings, he's gonna struggle to qualify for next year. We might be seeing him in the qualifier.
So very interesting turn of events there. Hopefully Ryan can hopefully get involved with this and make it a bit of a more entertaining GP.
Well, it's still a bit more entertaining than last year, because you've got 3 guys up there challenging instead of like last year. It was just Ryan and Stefan, and they both happened to miss a meeting as well at that last season, and I think Steph just pulled away at the end. But this one looks a lot more interesting with Stefan not being his usual dominant self. I mean, he's I wouldn't say he's struggled in the GPs this year, but it's not been like winning every GP like he was last season. I mean, you've got Paris and Sizzler, weighing in with points. I mean, especially Paris, 15, and 16 points. I think he'd be quite happy with that at this stage of the season, after he's a bit disappointing in the GPs last season. So I think he's going to be more determined now.
Well, we'll see how things pattern out on the 23rd of March, 8:30, when this match takes place. But also taking place on the same night as per usual is the SCS. And this round, of course, features our producer, Ben Thompson, and also Hads. Hads, your thoughts going into this one? Of course, we always say that the SCS does have a tendency to bring some surprises. I believe there's some changes where you want to give out in this one as well, and also the wild card.
Yeah, obviously we know Irwin's the wild card, based on his form the last few weeks. So well done to him. Changes, there's actually 5 changes this round, believe it or not, for one thing or another. So we have Craigie Hurl coming in for David Nofia. We have Super Dip for Capesy, Badger for Skyrider, Tintin for Caney, and Method will take the place of Hutty. And we're still waiting to hear from our mate Bewitcher. So it's unsure
Good luck with that.
if he'll be there. He did say last round when he didn't. He said to Tank, he just thought he'd be replaced if he didn't meet the deadline. So I don't know what the stance is on that, obviously. We'll have to
It's
wait and see. But it should be an interesting one with a few different riders in. So a couple of people, obviously myself included, who haven't done that well. First half of the season, I think I'll probably speaking for Ben as well, if I, without being sounding too much of a, shall we say. And obviously Badger's got a point to prove to quite a few people, I think, not having already raced. So it'd be good, interesting mix of the replacements coming in, and if one of those guys can string together a few heats, why can't they make the final and do well? So we'll have to see how it goes.
well, as I said, we'll definitely see how that pans out as well. Shad, your thoughts on the SCS?
Yeah, this is a big one for Jan with Caney not racing. It's going to be if Jan can pile up some points again this week, I think it's going to be probably halfway there. JC, I can see putting a bit of a challenge in, but whether JC can be consistent, I mean, Jan has been very consistent this season, 50 points. Caney missing out. You can see the lead stretching to like well over like 15, 16 points between them. So, yeah, I think this is a big one for Jan, and just hope that maybe the likes of JC and Cam and score some points and make it a bit more interesting.
Where do we see Cam and Rico head to head, and who's going to take the points of that one?
Last time they rode next to each other in the same race, I think they both finished third and fourth. So history tells you it's not going to be pretty.
Oh wow, Heat six. Oh yeah, Rico, Cam, and Hads. Oh yeah, that's cool. Well, I'm sure we'll keep an eye on that one, Hadlington. I'm sure we will. But good luck nonetheless, Hads, in that one. So with the BGP and SCS rounds all finalised and previewed, we're going to look on now to the upcoming league action. In fact, it's second leg of the KO Cup. Our first match we have will be Wednesday, the 26th of March at 8:30, where the Newcastle Wolves take on the Poole Cowboys. Now, Newcastle hold a 53-37. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think both teams have 53-37, so I'm pretty sure that's it, or it's 57-36. I can't remember now. But Newcastle, you would think at that away score, you guys got one foot in the grand final. Question is, can Poole surprise you?
Yeah, I think most people will say the same, but we've still got a job to do. I've just noticed as well the teams are in the wrong order on the screen. That's a copy and paste tank special, I think, maybe. So obviously the riding orders will be different as well now for this one. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how the two teams line up after the average changes. And hopefully we'll do enough. Obviously we still want to win the meeting, obviously. But it's still got a job to do, still got the time to win. And once we've done that, then we start preparing for the final, hopefully. And but I think obviously Craig didn't ride in the first leg, Sudden Rotten didn't ride in the first leg, so it all depends on the availability of the.
Sudden Rotten's really missing, and he's only ridden one meeting. I think he's missed the last two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Dan's kidnapped him as well.
I think he's been. I don't know what's happened with him.
I'll let him out. I'll let him out Wednesday morning.
You can't. I mean, you got. I know. The Wolves will be playing it down, but you can't really see the Cowboys getting enough points. I mean, you can see them winning on the night, but there's a lot of points. There's a lot of points to make up.
Was it 16 points?
16 points.
16 points.
You know, when you go, unless the Wolves have got a catastrophic problem with availability, but then they get to choose the date. There's really no excuse. There's really no excuse. I mean, you got, as long as it's not Sunday, so ads can ride. It's Wednesday anyway, so we know that they chose when they obviously chose Wednesday as one of the dates. They've obviously got some sort of availability going there. But you got the likes of Paris, Sizzler, and Ad, you know, and I mean Owen's going to be in the main body of the team now. I think. I don't think it will slow his scoring down, although he won't get so many rides.
Bobby's saying in the chat we're missing Sun Rotten, so
you can't with all the wood in the world, you can't see the Cowboys turning this around.
I mean, you think 12 months ago you were saying the Cowboys would have be winning the KO Cup because of the team they had, but of course it seems to be the formality that the team that wins the league the previous year tend to struggle the year after. So yeah, it could be a bit of a surprise on the cards here if the Wolves can kick on, especially making Newcastle a fortress around their own track. So yeah, it should be interesting to see how things pan out. The second semi-final sees the Powder Hall Scorchers, who also hold a 16-point lead over the Dragons. This one takes place also on Wednesday, 26th of March at 8:30. So again, the same match, same night for both teams.
Oh, Julio's back.
that should be Big Slow Caney, actually. Not Big Slow, not Big. No, Craigie Harrell. My apologies, mate. Craigie Harrell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't worry, Craigie Harrell. We've got you in there, mate. Don't worry. It's just a copy and paste from the Whopper. So.
He's going to edit that out. You can bet your life.
I told him he's getting both barrels tonight, and he has been doing. Anyway, Hads, your thoughts on Scorcher Dragons? How's this one going?
I think same as the first one. I think Scorchers will progress. Whether Dragons will win on the night is another thing. It's obviously availability as well. I know David No Fear's on holiday this week. I don't know if he's back for the Scorchers, but Alan's been scoring. His scores have improved, so we'll have to see. But the top 4 or 5, the top 4 especially for the Scorchers is pretty solid, isn't it? I mean, and they're all normally available. So, although that being said, I'm sure somebody was asked to guest. Not sure. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, I know 101's missed some meetings for Dragons. So I think Dragons could win. It's a bit of a tricky track. 101, I love it at Powder Hall. Looking forward to see how he does around there. And I think Scorchers to progress.
Didn't Dip ride for you there? Did he ride for the
Yeah,
Dynamite?
but he left after a couple of meetings. That was the season he left.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he got replaced.
I thought he'd raced there. So like you said, you could see the Dragons winning it. But like I said, with the last meeting, it's a lot of points to make up, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you've got the likes of Barecki and Dan, if they ride together, they usually ride pretty well together, don't they? 3 and 4. Cam as well. Not sure if the Smiler's going to be about. He seems to miss quite a few meetings. No, I think this could be a lot closer than the other meeting. I think Dragons could definitely win here. Well, whether they'll get enough points, I don't know. If they're sort of 4 or 5, say 6 points ahead halfway, I think the Scorchers could get pretty nervous, especially when you've got Stefan to take 3 more rides after that. So yeah, and like you said, 101's a track specialist, so he loves to hold, doesn't he?
Well, of course, like I said, Dragons won there earlier in the season, but it wasn't by much. So it's definitely one to keep an eye on. Yeah, you were, weren't you? Yeah, you got the 5-1 Heat 8, didn't you? Yeah.
Oh yes, me and Super Alan. I didn't think you want to mention that.
What did you get, Shads? Was it a 4-2 or was it a 3? No, it was you beat me, but it was a 4-2 against, wasn't it?
What was that?
When it was me and you, I think it was.
Was it? Oh, I can't remember.
So Hads has got the 5-1.
I think I scored 2 points to powder when we raced there, so that's all I remember about it. I think I scored 2 points pretty much everywhere this season.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for confirmation. Julia having to actually standing down because he rode last week. But anyway, as we go.
Well, as I said, Sculio was Craigie Harold can be active as of the 23rd, so this week.
But he's replacing somebody who's rode 2 days ago. How does that work? I don't know. I thought the rule was it was if they didn't ride. Well, obviously, I don't know if he's quick. I don't know if that's an official. Obviously, it is.
Well, my captain's not in here, so I can't really ask him for that.
But how can you quit? Well, yeah, that is right, Heppel. Yeah, definitely. But how can someone sign in place of someone who's read 2 days ago? I don't know. And that'd solve your problem. Are you riding, Dan? So there you go.
I'm not saying
Everyone's
much.
A winner.
I'm not saying much about that one. I don't know. I don't know what's going on that night. So, like I said, number 8 can or can't ride either way. So we'll soon see on Wednesday. See if the Dragons can claw back that 16 points and make it a bit tougher for the Scorchers. But do you see it as a Newcastle Powder Hall final? Do you think at this present moment?
Yeah, I think you'd have to be silly not to say that, wouldn't you?
Come on, Cowboys, don't let me down. just on the Julio thing, I just had a quick look through the rules. Any riders who have left the team will become a pool rider and be placed on the league eligible pool riders list, which will be Julio. Once leaving a team, they will not be able to be declared in a team for a total of 3 fixtures, weeks, or make a guest appearance. So it doesn't say anything about a rider coming in not being able to race. But the effect is that Julio won't be able to guest for them once he's left them. So I think replacing a rider quitting and being replaced by another rider, I don't think that's a problem. But Craigie Hill will be eligible to ride. I can't see anything in the rules that says he can't.
We'll soon see. It's been a bit heated, this podcast, hasn't it? A little bit, little bit heated, isn't it? Christ.
It's all good.
So
it's all good fun.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's all fun, isn't it? Anyways, our final piece of information we have for you guys is the new average changes, which is on the screen as of right now. So you see there the new averages. I'm going to ask you all, actually. So Ben Thompson, stand by, because I'm going to bring you in as well if I can, mate. Hads, who has impressed you the most with their increased average?
I'll be stupid not to say Owen riding alongside him. So I'll see what he does in practice, and he puts that into meetings as well. So definitely Owen, but also Westy Boy from reserve up until 748. I mean, that's a pretty big jump. So fair play to Westy. I think the rest of the teams as it goes. Obviously, Kane's up, increased his average back in the top 3 for Dragons, but I think that's the Stefan effect. Why didn't we Stefan again? And our mate Julio's made another appearance there. Look at number 5. But you're going to have some very, very strong reserves in the second half of the season. So it's, and obviously the Spartans changes are not on there. Toby will be the second highest rider now instead of Mackinnon, and Brendan, I think it was 688 Brendan was. So we'll just go like for like with DL, and that'll push Skyrider down to the 6th rider, so they could have Skyrider and Tank at reserve if need be. So that's another decent partnership. But also looking forward to see how Cappy goes at number 1 for the Panthers.
Oh yeah, of course, Cappy. That's
you're right. You're right about. And don't forget Scotty B. He was on a 6.2 average, and he's gone up to 7.8 now. And in a struggling team for 2 riders to up their averages. If you look at most of the riders that have upped their averages have been riding at reserve.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
So it's nice to see 2 riders that are in a struggling side riding in the middle order.
That's great, didn't he?
Who is that?
3 exceptional starts in a row now for Curtis Jones of Liverpool.
Oh, sorry, boys.
at least he knew. At least he knew.
Was that Badger?
The bloody white foaming, it keeps coming off.
Oh, he had to get on this week, didn't he? He had to get on.
Yeah, of course he did. He's everyone's favourite.
Always there, gents. Always there.
Okay, so Shad,
I'm off the hit list now.
Yeah, you are. Shad, your thoughts on the averages? Who's impressed you the most?
Like I said earlier, I think like you said, the usual suspects: Owen, Westy. Skyrider's average has gone up a little bit as well. There's quite a few of them have put little bits on the average, but obviously Westy's been piling on the points at reserve. So a lot of the riders that have put their averages up quite a lot have been at reserve. So it remains to be seen how they will adapt to riding in the middle order. I'm surprised that Powis' average going down that much, because whenever I've seen him, he's looked really good, but obviously not replicating his GP form in the Wolves team. But he's been doing just enough. But he won't be at number 1 now, so maybe he'll get a few easier rides.
Yeah, so definitely.
Oh, Sizzler.
Oh.
That's not nice. And there's a lot of riders. You look at that, a lot of riders there you wouldn't expect to see at reserve. I mean, Hank, Squall. I mean, although a 6-point average isn't really a reserves average, but he could easily ride at number 6 now, which will give the Dragons a bit of a boost. But it's really, really weird. Mind you, with Craigie in the team now, Craigie's average would be below his, won't it? That's wrong, isn't it? We take Craigie's under.
No, Craigie's above Squall.
Is Craigie over a 6 average?
Yeah, 6'11", I think he is.
Wow, I thought we didn't know as high as that. Wow, so yes, Squall gets to ride at reserve if he wants, unless he wants to use all 8 riders again. It's up to him. He'll be allowed to now, thanks, Deb.
Oh dear.
Oh, Christ almighty.
I think we should start naming these episodes.
The thing is though, Dan, if the Dragons are up in the challenging for the league title, he's going to want to put his best 7 out, so you're not going to get a look in, are you?
It's definitely, well, we haven't really thought about that at the moment.
No, I just thought about it for you. I'm just telling you how it works. When a team's not challenging for anything, it's lovely to put all 8 in. But if a team's challenging for a league title, and you've got to come, I think you've got to come to us in the last meeting of the season. You really think he's going to be risking it by putting you in the side?
I can say the same about you, Shads.
Exactly. I don't complain when I'm left out. I do it for the best of the team. I'm not after personal glory. I just want to beat you, mate.
Oh dear. Jesus Christ.
I'm saying nothing.
I didn't think you would anyway, Hads. Didn't think you anyway.
I'm holding everybody up. That's all.
Yeah. Well, that Shad's in the league table.
Oh,
Yeah,
shots fired.
absolutely.
See,
Absolutely.
It's a team game. At least I didn't bottle and ridden in every GP this year. You've been asked numerous times to get to the SCS. Now I'm just concentrating on league meetings. You don't even get a ride in that.
Oh dear. No. Round 2. Go. And it's all gone quiet.
I'm just. I don't know.
I think they call that checkmate.
I think he's actually speechless.
Well,
Oh
I've
dear
done
me.
my job then, haven't I?
Such an. Oh. I don't know who's worse,
Oh, my
Tank
Dan.
or you.
Dan. You know we all love you.
You know he's only messing.
It's called banter, mate. It's called banter. You've been away too long. You've forgotten what it's like.
It's taken 61 episodes. This dad has finally shot him. Well, at least I talk. At least I talk, Powis. At least I talk.
Oh,
Yeah, no, don't get picking on them.
He's having a go at the world champ. He's having a go at the world champion now.
Mr.
Wow.
Muted. Mr. Muted over here. Christ. Ugh. Anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, second half of the season, chaps. It's looking very, very tasty. On track and off it, of course. Especially after the last Tuesday's events. But we won't go into that now. We're gonna.
What
I
happened?
believe. No comment. So anyway, with that being said, I think we can wrap up tonight's show. With everything all sort of talked about and spoke about and everything else.
I want to ask you a question, Dan.
Yes, Hads, go ahead and please be
It's
kind.
not about the number 8. It's not about the number 8 before we go on.
Okay.
What do you think average Toby will finish on at the end of the season?
Ooh, that is a good question. If he can, he's what, a 7 on a 7.5?
7.5 he's coming at, yeah, but obviously that's assessed.
7.5. Okay. Ooh, that is. I would say low 8s. I'd say maybe an 8, 8.5. Lofty! Yeah, bugger!
That is class. That is class.
Oh, that's the funniest
That
thing I've seen in ages.
I'm going to get this all season with him, not extra over the season. Christ.
That is brilliant. Oh my god.
Meanwhile, Skyride's just doing right-click save for his next slide, isn't he? On his next sliders meeting.
Oh dear.
Oh
That is
god.
brilliant.
Oh, I'm gonna get that all the time at bloody Exeter now. Christ.
I thought I'd seen it all.
Yeah. And I thought Craig did the graphic stuff anyway. I'd say definitely he'll up his average, definitely. Maybe 8.5, 8.5, 8.6 maybe. If he keeps going like he was going when he was like guesting for everybody, and has his form that he had for the BGP when he like had 18 points out of 20, then I think, you know, we'll soon see how it goes. And of course we'll have to have another interesting talk when the next averages come out after the next meeting. So, but yeah, it's all not else to say really. Please stay after this season. Oh dear. So, anyways, chaps, now that everything's all settled down and everything's all sorted, I think we can safely close tonight's show. Join us next week, episode 62 of everyone's favorite Friday night podcast. So that being said, it's a good night from Hads.
Good night, all.
It's a good night from Shads.
Good night, darling. Good night, everyone.
Don't forget the podcast will be dropped on YouTube 8 p.m. tomorrow night. So
heavily edited, I should think.
Heavily edited and definitely one to watch. Oh, brilliant. So until then, chaps, I've been Chester 430. I've been given a complete walloping tonight, even though I sort of tried to give it and it failed miserably. Yeah, we'll see you all next week for all four back. Until then, take care and good night, everybody. Take it easy.